Hello and welcome to a fantastic session that we're hosting today. My name is Amy Copeland. I'm the Chief Executive at ICB, and I am delighted to be joined by some very special people. First up, let me introduce Brian McVean. If you have studied bookkeeping, chances are you know who Brian is. One of our most popular tutors ever, and we have had a fantastically long relationship with the place where Brian works, which is Ideal Schools. And yeah, ICB is just loves working with fantastic training providers. So welcome, Brian. It's wonderful to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Amy. Thank you. And it's lovely to see yourself this morning and yourself as well, Stephanie. Great opportunity for us to showcase our employee sponsorship scheme today. As you said, Amy, our relationship with ICB is very strong and has lasted a long time. And
It's like a lifetime, doesn't it?
yeah, it feels like that sometimes. But no, the opportunities that you provide to our students is fantastic. So it's something to really champion, and I'm looking forward to today's chat.
Well, maybe you might actually like to introduce our other special guest, whose name you just mentioned, Stephanie Marshall, and let us know why Stephanie's joining us today.
Okay, so Stephanie is one of our students, has been a student with Ideal Schools since 2017. She has gone beyond her training, while still upskilling herself. She has gone beyond her initial training and set up her own business and has become a phenomenal success in herself. So she's got a really great story to tell, and I'm hoping the listeners today will really benefit from that. If you want to give yourself a little introduction yourself, Stephanie.
Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie Marshall, FICB, newly appointed PM DIP, and I am CEO and founder of ABCS UK. That is my ICB licensed bookkeeping and accountancy practice, and I'm also a podcaster and a future author. And I've been with Ideal Schools, like Brian said, since 2017, and they've been an absolute gem to us. So I was honoured when they asked me to be an Ideal Schools ambassador. So any questions you've got regarding Ideal Schools that you want from an impartial, slightly biased person, then you can get in contact with me.
I love so much about what you just said, particularly impartial and slightly biased, which is how I feel about pretty much everything I do in terms of bookkeepers. I think totally impartial, very biased. But also future author. What does this mean?
Yep. So I am releasing in January a book teaching financial education to teenagers. So Finances for Life is all the things we're not taught at school, because it's so needed in today's economy, and it's a passion project that's been almost 2 years in the making now.
Wow, I can't wait for that to come out. And of course, you're a podcaster. And also, last but not least, you have been nominated again, shortlisted for some Luca Awards this year. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the third time the charm, hopefully. I've been shortlisted in 3 different categories, plus my branch, the ICB Aberdeenshire branch. So I'm up for Influence of the Year, Small Practice of the Year, and Client Experience Award, which is the new one this year. And I'm really looking forward to spending the summit and the awards on the 11th of November in Westminster.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Well, we're all here today to talk about the amazing scheme that Ideal Schools has to help you upskill your team. Now, I know most of you joining today, bar about sort of 4 or 5 of you, are ICB members, and you have got practices. So I am delighted to hear that you have got teams, or you are hoping to grow your teams. And certainly this year's Luca Awards has really given us the opportunity to see how successful our ICB bookkeeping practices really are. And teams can come in all shapes and sizes. Some of you are subcontracting out through the ICB network, but a lot of you are actually now employing people. And what I love to see about ICB bookkeepers is that you are so progressive. You are really sympathetic and fantastic employers who quite often you do things like you support flexible working. And I think a lot of the time that comes from the fact that you have chosen your bookkeeping career to flexibly work around your own circumstances as well. So I love to see you also giving your employees the opportunity to work flexibly. But of course, what we really want to do is make sure that your employees have the right skills for the job. And we're very proud at ICB of our syllabus. And in fact, one of our Luca Award winners, he's not a winner, that is also not prior information, because I don't know who's winning it. But one of our Luca Award shortlisted finalists for Student of the Year is actually a CIMA Fellow. And in his application, he actually said that the ICB course has been the most useful one he's done. So he's done CIMA, and he's also currently studying ICAW. And he said that ours is the best. Isn't that exciting? So that's really nice to hear. But maybe what I can do is just find out. I think the thing that I really want to do is find out a little bit more about Stephanie Marshall and how you have managed to build your practice in such a short period of time, and how you have done that through a team.
Absolutely. So at ABCS UK, we run things very differently to everybody else. I like to be different. I like to stick out. And I built the business with clients at the heart of all we do. So we are more than just the numbers. We are a partner in our clients' businesses, and we are working together to help them achieve their goals. Very quickly, because we have such a detailed level of relationship with our clients, I needed more than just me to handle the 25 we have in the practice. So I took on a mum who had been out of work for 15 years. I'm a mum of 2 myself, so I understand what it's like needing to get back into the working world. Just a couple of days a week to do the administration. Now, very quickly, it was apparent to me that they're an incredible human being and would make an excellent bookkeeper. Their attention to detail is great. They ask questions, which I think as an employer or as a business owner is amazing when they ask you the questions, because you know they're interested and engaged. So it came to the point where I wanted to start her on a bookkeeping training. Now, as an Ideal School student myself, there was no one else that I would rather have teaching my employee to be a bookkeeper. So I went to Brian and picked up the phone to Brian and was like, okay, so I need my employee to start doing her bookkeeping training. How do we do this? It has to be the ICB. I want her to be trained to the same standard as me. I want her to have the same ethics and professionalism that we all adhere to at the ICB. So we started this ESS, and I didn't know that ESS existed beforehand, so it was new to me as well. But as a business owner, being able to track the process and the progress that my employees are making is amazing. And Brian ensured me that should my employee leave, which I don't think they ever will, but that's business, I can switch the training to a new employee, which is a huge benefit when you're making that financial investment in your employee and your business. I like to say that you can build your business by building your staff. And this is the key way to do that if you're in a bookkeeping or accountancy firm.
Fantastic. So I guess one of the things I would say is, obviously this means kind of by definition that you have enough business that you need to expand out from just being Stephanie Marshall doing all the work herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how has that actually worked? Is it something that you're doing uniquely, or do you think there is just lots of business out there?
I think people like the relationship aspect that we have that others don't. So I think it's really important to get to know our clients from the inside out. And we offer a whole business solution as well. So we're also certified business strategists and business development people. So we build web shops, we idea generate with them, we strategize with them. All the bits of running a business you learn as a practice owner, I invest into my clients. So because we have that real one-on-one time and relationship, there's only so many hours in the day. Also, because I have children, working flexibly is incredibly important to me. We're only in the office 9:30 to 2:30 Monday to Friday. So the school runs are still approachable and easy to do. And then in August, we have no client-facing meetings. The compliance work still gets done behind the scenes, but it enables us to spend time with our children. And I think that's really important, as most ICB people come to bookkeeping because we need that flexibility around our growing families or caring responsibilities.
Wow, I often think that bookkeepers are really living the dream. And actually, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I am not quite living my dream, then this may be the way to do it, by upskilling a team, growing a team, and finding that way to be more flexible. And I'd love to know in the chat, actually, who else is working hours that fit around kids, for example, and who else. What I loved about that, Stephanie, was that you are taking your learnings from being a business owner and passing that on to your clients. Is anybody else providing services to their clients that go above and beyond what one might class as bookkeeping? But we all know that bookkeepers love to put the client first. And that is, of course, why you are so valued. Right, so let's share some slides, shall we? And maybe Brian, you can talk to us a little bit about, in a bit more detail, about the employee sponsorship scheme, the ESS. Reminds me a bit of the SEISS that we had during COVID, but hopefully this is much better than that. Much less complicated.
I would hope so, Amy, but let's not mention COVID. That's a thing of the past mainly now. So yeah, the employee sponsorship scheme is really us putting a badge on something we've done for many employees over the years. And that's just to provide them with a training solution for their staff that allows flexibility in their learning, minimising their staff's time away from their office, and giving a range of skills to their employees that will just benefit them in practice. Now, over the years, I've spoken to many students have embarked on their career as bookkeepers, and in a good way, very quickly become a bit snowed under in the level of work that they have. And I think the worst thing you can do as a business owner is to allow that to impact on how you're interacting and working for your clients. So we're seeing more and more of our students now taking on some help. And this scheme, just as Stephanie touched upon, it just gives them a reassurance that we can provide the proper training. We provide regular updates, on-demand updates, so the employer can ask us at any time as to the progress of their employee without directly putting the pressure onto them in their workplace. And we have that little safety board. If an employee does leave, then we can look to integrate a new employee into the same study programme. So yeah, it's putting a badge on something that we've done for many years, Amy, and it's yeah.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I love the fact that you've got that reporting and you've got the oversight, like you said, Stephanie, so that you know actually how your employee is doing. I think that's brilliant. And you know, employees do leave. Happens to me occasionally as well. It's very frustrating, but sometimes it's very positive as well. And I think, you know, when you invest in people, they will invest back into your business, and sometimes that means that they fly the nest. But that is also can be a very positive thing. And I think sometimes it's a mark of good employee development as well. So it's not just the core bookkeeping that you provide, is it, Brian? You do the full gamut of ICB qualifications, don't you?
Yeah, from a very early time of us being involved with ICB, we made the decision to cover all levels of study and all qualifications that you provided. So whether as the screen suggests there, whether you're looking to add individual subjects in payroll management just to increase your overall client experience. The worst thing I think being a bookkeeper would be to process invoices from other companies that are providing skills that you could be providing as well. So through ICB, you are allowed to become the one-stop shop, as to coin a phrase that's used often. But whether it's payroll management, the taxation subjects offer great financial opportunities. And yeah, for one, since ICB launched in 2016, I think it was, the original FRS 105 qualification for corporation accounts, the increase in potential income for your members rose quite dramatically, to be honest. So it's been great to be able to provide these courses.
Stephanie, do you offer tax services as well?
Yeah, so we are level 3 payroll, level 4 self-assessment, and I've just finished the level 4 financial statements. We do the corp tax, but it's outsourced at the moment. So once that's done, then we can bring it on. I would like to point out with these specific qualifications is that one of the key things for me is to cross-skill my employee. So if I'm not available to do the payroll, they can pick it up. If you think when you go to Tesco or Asda supermarket, you hear over the tannoy, all multi-skilled workers to check out, please, because they're so busy. If in your business you have a team, make sure more than one of you is trained if you can, because then they can pick it up if you're sick or if you're on holiday and all those things without damaging the practice or the results that your clients are getting.
That's really wise because yes, probably you're not allowing yourself enough holidays, I imagine. So you should definitely allow for holidays and of course sickness as well. And actually last night I was at the Accounting Excellence Awards, one of the perks of the job, certainly. And I was sitting alongside Sylvia Borhill, who is the co-chair of our advisory council. She runs a very successful practice called Another Answer. She has a lovely team of bookkeepers and other staff working for her. And she's actually going away for a month with her husband. And she said, you know, I've set up the systems, I've trained my team. It's so wonderful to have that opportunity to take time out for myself. So it really can happen. And I think bookkeepers are particularly good at setting up systems. So, you know, Stephanie, is it something that sort of comes naturally to you, running a business and managing a team and training them, or are you learning as you go?
It's a little bit of both. As you know, I am an entrepreneur through and through, and I love all things business, not just the financial cog. So for me, everything is learning. Everything changes all the time, not just HMRC regulations. Everything changes in business all the time. Clients leave, clients come to you, new problems arise, and you only know what you know. So it's really important to keep learning. Training a team, I find fairly easy because I have such a great relationship with everyone. Communication is so important to me. That's why I put it in the company name. It's where 99% of businesses fall down, is the lack of clear communication and systems and processes. I don't know if you remember a conversation we had a while ago, but I built my own CRM software for the practice because one didn't exist that I liked. So I do feel I'm more of an exception to the rule in that I like to put all those processes in place. But it is easy to do and easy to learn. And if it's not your skill set, then outsource it to someone else that can.
Fantastic. And also, you know, and just talking about the kind of tax and going up to level 4. So of course, Stephanie Marshall, major congratulations on becoming a fellow of ICB. That's a really big deal. And in order to become a fellow, you have to have at least 3 level 4 qualifications, don't you? So has it actually benefited your business in ways other than your increased credentials?
I mean, it was a big goal of me. I'm one of those that likes to get to the top of my field in whatever I do and then be the best in whatever I do. So because I'm so driven, fellowship was on my goal board for a really long time. I remember calling Brian the next morning to tell him instantly that I'd finally got to where I wanted to be, because Brian knew and supported me the whole way through since 2017. I think it was 2 syllabuses ago when we first started out on our ICB journey together with the Ideal Schools. So yeah, I don't fully know. Is the honest answer on that one.
I think sometimes, and we would say here at ICB that you run the practice you want to run, and there's no pressure from us to go on and do level 4 and take on these kind of statutory services where you're submitting stuff to HMRC and Companies House. Some people just don't like that. And we also have some practices who get the qualifications just because they want to know what they don't know, and they want to be able to outsmart the accountant even more than they're already doing. So whatever works for you is fantastic as far as we're concerned. But I think sometimes it is a good way to get new clients, because some clients know that they've got to do a tax return. They don't yet know the value of bookkeeping. So sometimes it is a good way to get clients in the door. And of course, a good way to get more value from the clients you've got if you're already doing their bookkeeping. So different ways of using that to benefit your practice. So I'd love to find out a little bit more about the sort of support that Ideal Schools offers. Now, Brian, I know that you're renowned for your fantastic support, but maybe you can share a little bit more information to our watchers at home.
Of course, Amy. Now, we kind of pride ourselves in our approachability, really. I think that's, we create friendships. I see Stephanie now as a friend rather than a student, and that happens time and again as students are going through their journey. So the flexibility and approachability that we have in our internal systems here means that students feel supported right through their journey. Nobody hides away from the fact that in distance learning, the student has to put in the time, but if they have a reassurance that help is only a phone call away, we're really big in speaking to students on a regular basis to making sure that they get past the hurdles that can happen within training. Celebrating with them their exam successes is great, but having that empathy as well when things don't quite go to plan on any given day, it gives them just a reassurance that we've got their back moving forward, and they build the confidence to go again. That support mechanism, obviously social media and stuff makes that really accessible now. You know, there are different ways that students can touch base. So whether it's by phone, email, we have live chat facility on our website. We've got a messenger system within our student management system, and we've got our private support groups, which are really, really popular. So yeah, students are supported fully throughout that journey. Training materials are written specifically for every subject, and quite often they go beyond the syllabus requirement, making sure students are not only prepared for their exams, but have vital information that they'll need when they take that next step to use their skills professionally. And your mock examinations, Amy, are the kind of gold standard in preparation for exams, and we provide those for every exam that or every course that we provide towards your exams. All of your mock exams are included as standard within our training. We take our responsibilities very, very seriously, and when students don't pass, doesn't happen that often, but when they don't pass, we accept joint responsibility for that, and we share in any resit cost that the student might have. So just, again, I know I've used the word a lot, but it's a reassurance to the student that we'll do everything that we can, other than sit the exam itself, of course, but we'll do everything that we can in order to ensure that the student is as prepared as possible.
That all sounds so reassuring. Stephanie, what's it like when you are now in your position, you're looking at your team trying to pass these exams? Is it as nerve-wracking or stressful? Do you have a kind of different perspective on it now?
Yes and no, because as Brian said, you know, the support's amazing. I'll be really honest, I failed my first level 4 drafting financial statements by 2 marks and timed out, and I was utterly heartbroken. And I said to Brian, I'm not doing it, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore, I'm done. I've been doing this for years, I'm done. I'm just never going to do that particular topic. I'm going to outsource it forever. And he picked me back up and said, you can do this. I'm going to pay half of your resit. You're going to do this. And I passed it straight away the second time around. And if not, I'd have put it off for a long time. The biggest piece of advice for anyone that is with Ideal Schools is to not be afraid to pick up the phone and ask. The amount of time, especially back when I was doing sort of like M5, M6 of level 3, where I'd get to a sticking point and be too scared to pick up the phone and go, I don't know this, I don't understand this, or send an email and own up to the fact you don't know it. Because the minute you get on the phone and your tutor talks through it with you and it makes sense. I had Carol, who's also shortlisted for Tutor of the Year in the ICB Luca Awards, help me through my level 4. And she would be on the phone to me on a Friday afternoon while I'm like, but it's just not going in my head. It's just not clicking and I don't understand why until you get it right. And the support is, I've never had anything like it where you can just pick up the phone. And I think that's where Ideal Schools really excel. And knowing that I had to push my employee to send the first email to say, I don't understand this part of it, to get them to explain it to her. But now she's away and she's flying, and that confidence as an employer that my employee is supported 100% without taking away from my time in the business, I'll support her all the way. There's been times where she's brought the folder in, or forgotten the folder, sorry, and it's like, oh, I'm at this point of input output tax and it's confusing me. And I was like, oh, we'll bring up the online access, because you can get it online as well if you don't have to carry around the paper and read it on the train while you're commuting. And we got to the point where she was, and I helped her understand it so she could carry on. All these things I've never had from any other training provider, and the support is absolutely second to none.
I think you expressed that really well, this idea that actually, to a certain extent, it's great to have another support system for your employee so that it's not all falling on you. Even though you have this ability to be there every step of the way, it's great to be able to rely on somebody else to be on that journey with you. And thank you also to Mihal. We've got Keith Elliott, who is Stephanie's Aberdeenshire branch chair, on the chat. Just reiterating what you're saying is the study materials are great and the support is fantastic. And also Karen Cheddar, I think, is giving ICB some kudos that perhaps it doesn't quite deserve, but the ICB team at Ideal Schools, absolutely fantastic, apparently. So wonderful. And also we've got Elaine from Ideal Schools in the chat. So if you've got specific questions for Ideal Schools, fire away, guys, because we want your questions answered. And likewise, if you do have any questions you'd like us specific to answer, if I can find it, we do have a question and answer future, I think, or stick it in the chat if you've got any specific questions. That would be fantastic. I guess I'm wondering, what would be the incentive to crack on and get this, make some decisions, Brian? About this.
I missed something earlier, Amy, if I can just mention
yeah.
it. We are, technologies such as this, Zoom, provide great opportunities. And isolation in study can be quite daunting when you're starting something new. And earlier this year, we launched our virtual welcome meetings where we bring students that have recently enrolled, we bring them together in Zoom chats. We take them through all the systems that Ideal Schools have in place. We introduce them to some of the team and to each other so that they don't feel as if they're alone in their journeys. And it creates, within those meetings, we are able to create mini networks so that they've then got sounding boards with other students as they're progressing through their training. So it's the virtual welcome meetings has been really well received since we launched them.
I love the sound of that, because our students are all over the place, aren't they? All ages, all environments, and the only real defining factor is that they are doing distance learning, which sometimes can be quite isolating. Is that kind of thing appealing to you, Stephanie? Is it very lonely studying to become an ICB certified bookkeeper?
I think any distance learning is incredibly, if you're not doing it with somebody else, accountability is really helpful in all business. And when I first joined Ideal Schools as a student, they didn't have these virtual welcome meetings. And when they brought them in, I said, oh, can I come along to one? Because I never got the opportunity. And Elaine said, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It was wonderful to see people that were just starting out, people that were maybe on level 3 and almost qualified, to people that were just starting some of the level 4 topics. There was such a wide range. And it does feel incredibly inclusive. Something else that was on a previous slide that wasn't mentioned that I want to highlight is that with Ideal Schools, you do have that interest-free payment. So as an employer, you don't have to invest everything in one go. You can pay it over 6 months or over whatever period of time is for your course. And that helps as a business owner and entrepreneur, as an employer, to financially afford the investment in your employee. So it's not like you've got to find all the money today to pay for everything. And I love the fact that Ideal Schools, you can incorporate the exam fee when you pay for your training, or you can just pay for the exams when you get to that point in your study. And that's also, I feel like we should point that out.
Yes, that sounds really flexible, Brian. And there was a discount also for multiple employees?
There is discount, yeah. So as part of the launch of this official scheme, at the moment, we're offering 10% discount on all courses. But if an employer has more than one employee that they'd like to put through the training at any given time, then we would offer additional discount for that. So yeah, it's always worthwhile picking up the phone and having a chat with the team here. We get a feel for exactly what courses would best benefit your practice, and we would take it from there. But yeah, minimum 10% discount at the moment, and that can be extended if there's more than one employee taking a program.
That is fantastic. And I would say you absolutely could do this in the middle of the night. Do this, put in your ESS10 code at checkout, but maybe, like Brian says, pick up the phone and have a nice chat and make sure that you know exactly what you're doing and why it's going to be a fantastic decision that you've made. Because we've said it before, a very friendly team and just absolute experts at training people to successfully pass these exams. And these exams, they are not easy. All of you who've already got your letters after your name, these are hard-won credentials, and there is no other accounting professional body that sets its pass mark at 85%. So it doesn't surprise me at all, Stephanie, that you didn't pass one exam. But we do have people time and time again who are not successful on the first attempt or even the second attempt, and they go again. And like you say, it's great to have a training provider that will support you and gives you that, what do you call it? The exam pass guarantee.
Exam pass guarantee, yes. So yeah, that just gives that word assurance again that we are going to support our students every step of the way.
It's absolutely fantastic. And, and practicing with mocks really helps as well. So certainly something that I'm sure a lot of you can see yourself supporting your students to do, sorry, your employees. It's funny, isn't it, the word student, it kind of often, you think of, I don't know, spotty teenagers, or at least I was a spotty teenager. But really our students come in all shapes and sizes from all different walks of life. And actually what I would be interested to hear in the chat, if you can, do tell me if you've got current employees that you think that this would apply to, or whether you're looking to expand your team and you're looking also for our employees. Because one of the things we want to do here at ICB is connect our fantastic graduates with our fantastic practice owners, because I think sometimes there's this, sometimes we know that our graduates think that we expect them to go into practice themselves, and we absolutely don't, because we know for a lot of people that's not the right journey for them. And we actually do a practice welcome webinar for all of our new practices. And in one of those, somebody actually said, do you know what? I'm finding it incredibly stressful. Trying to find clients, and I'm overthinking it. And we said to her, well, why don't you go to your local branch and have a chat to people there? She went to the local branch, met another practice owner, and subsequently closed her own practice, and she's now employed by that practice owner. So that was a lovely story, and it just goes to show that sometimes the journey isn't a straight line, and all sorts of surprises can happen along the way, and that's totally normal. Now, I wanted to just share something about our Bookkeepers Summit. Now, we do have a dedicated track for ICB students, and we're talking about all these fantastic subjects: study for success, self-assessment, tax explained, your personal path to becoming a bookkeeper, and payroll in practice. And I know that Ideal Schools might be presenting one of these sessions. Is that right, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely correct, Amy. Yeah, the self-assessment tax explained, I believe, is being hosted by our level 4 taxation tutors, Louise Woodhouse and Carol Gibson. They're quite a tag team, so I'm looking forward to actually seeing that. Yeah, that's they're so knowledgeable in terms of the experiences that they can share. So there'll be a lot to learn in that session.
Fantastic. And also, so there's a dedicated track, but everybody who's got a Bookkeeper Summit ticket has access to it. So it doesn't matter if you're not officially a student, even though we know every day is a school day for all of us, but also if you've got employees, it's a fantastic opportunity to give them a little bit of information about the various parts of the syllabus and get them motivated, because I think that motivation is really, really key with all of this. Now, I'd love also that you mentioned your tutors, Carol Gibson, and your other tutor as well, whose name has escaped me.
Louise Woodhouse.
Louise. It's good she's got two first names, hasn't she, technically? But Louise Woodhouse. And they were, am I right in thinking they studied and they became members and then they became tutors?
Yes, so we helped them with their training, and they very quickly they became really successful in their own practices, offering the kind of wider range of services that the qualifications provide. And whilst working or tutoring underneath our previous taxation tutor, Louise showed a real aptitude for sharing her knowledge, a real keenness to do that. So she latterly became our head ICB level 4 tutor, and Carol, again, similar experiences in practice, and they both just have a lovely way of putting things across. And yeah, so they are both students, both practicing bookkeepers, and both heavily invested in what the ICB are doing. I believe Carol is also one of, she's in the advisory council, I believe.
She is indeed on the advisory council.
ICB.
So we've got, I think
she's involved in.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was just trying to think how many people we've got on the advisory council, but it is a group of, I think, sort of 16 to 20 members who advise ICB, and we make sure that we do the right thing, and we are always adding value to our members by listening to what the advisory council has to say. So most of them are running their own business. Quite a few of them are also running a branch as well. So that's fantastic. And I just wanted to pick up on the fact that, Stephanie, you mentioned you're part of the Aberdeenshire branch, and you don't sound Scottish.
Definitely
Unlike
not.
Brian.
So I'm from Lincolnshire originally, but I live in Kent, and that is why the Aberdeenshire branch is, in my opinion, the best branch there is out there. They take on anybody. Aberdeenshire is such a wide range geographically that getting together in person was just not possible. So Suzanne and Keith, the co-chairs, had made the decision to make everything virtual. And then I bumped into them at the Aluka Awards 2 years ago. And they took me under their wing because I was really anxious, never been there before, didn't know what to do with myself because I went alone, and took me under their wing. And we've grown from there. And if you have children or caring responsibilities that mean that getting out or getting a babysitter to go to those branch meetings isn't possible, then the Aberdeenshire branch is for you. We have got members from all over the UK now in the branch, and it's growing all the time. The last 12 months has been incredible, and it's been so amazing to see everybody grow every week, and there's always new people coming in. It's amazing.
And of course, you're shortlisted as a branch of the year at this year's Luca Awards, which is a fantastic achievement. And yes, events can run virtually, and we're all trying to pursue a flexible work-life balance. So it's a fantastic way to get to know other members, even as Stephanie says, if you can't leave the house necessarily, or leave your office, or you're chained to the phone so that you can pick up calls from your clients. And there's no excuse really not to get to a local branch. And one of the exciting things about our website, which we are all, really hoping is going to be launched very soon. But one of the exciting things about that is that you will have the opportunity to actually physically join a branch online, and then you'll be able to connect with other members online as well in between meetings, because at the moment we don't have the facility for you to sort of technically join a branch, but you can attend any branch meeting that you want to. But in the future, we're just going to facilitate those connections every day of the year, and make sure that you all can benefit from this fantastic network that we have at ICB. So I mentioned again there the Luca Awards. So Stephanie's branch is shortlisted. Stephanie is also shortlisted for two other awards.
Three.
Did you mention? Oh, sorry, three. I should know that. Three, alongside Kirsty St. John, who's also nominated for three. Just tell us again what those awards are.
Small Practice of the Year, Bookkeeper Influence of the Year, and the New Client Experience Award.
Thank you very much. Yes, the New Client Experience Award. So I've touched on it before, but really we think that there's a spectrum with bookkeepers and accountants in it, and actually the services that you offer could be all the services that accountants offer. And really the defining thing about bookkeepers, we think, is your approach to working with clients, and the value that comes from regular bookkeeping and just knowing everything about your clients' businesses is what is really going to make bookkeepers, we think, the accounting professionals of the future. So this year's Bookkeepers Summit is all about the bookkeeper of the future. We very much think the future is in your hands, and things like making tax digital are really going to play to your strengths, because we know that a lot of the more traditional accountants who like to see their clients once a year are not geared up to support the 1.75 million taxpayers who are going to have to start filing digital accounts and doing quarterly submissions to HMRC as of 2026 and 27. So over those first 2 years, 1.75 million taxpayers affected, and they are self-employed taxpayers and people who have got property income. So then it's very different from when we had MTD for VAT. We think a lot of VAT registered businesses were already geared up to be doing this reporting. They just had to change to doing it in a slightly different way. Whereas some of these self-employed people really do need the help of a good bookkeeper. And I just think it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I think that digital record keeping is going to pay for itself. And we still to this day have people in the accounting industry saying, oh, the cost is too high, or businesses aren't prepared for it. Well, let me tell you, businesses need to get an ICB bookkeeper, and it will be absolutely fantastic for them, and they will never look back. Do you agree with me, Stephanie?
Absolutely. But then again, I'm impartial but biased. I literally was on a call yesterday with a potential new client who sees their accountant once a year, or doesn't actually see them anymore, just sends them their bank statements, and had no idea that Making Tax Digital was coming into force, and still is not using any type of accountancy software. So, well, they are now because they're coming to me, but they are still out there, people that are still trying to suffer along because they don't understand the technology advancements that are going to help them in their businesses.
Exactly, exactly. And actually, we talked about it a lot at the Inspire Tour, and people said, I think it was at the Bristol Inspire, they said, all people, businesses around here, how am I going to get them to get this to work? They don't like the idea of Big Brother coming in, and they don't like the idea of there being fines. And I said, I think we all kind of concluded that actually you don't need to talk about the fines that you might get for not doing it. You can talk about the value of getting this right. And how is it transformative for businesses to start using a bookkeeper like you, Stephanie, and start using digital software?
I believe so. And the testimonials and things we get back from clients would say 110%. Having an ICB bookkeeper, knowing that we're held to such a high standard as well. I saw on a conversation in a bookkeepers Facebook group where a bookkeeper had gone to speak to a potential new client, and they were like, oh yeah, but my accountant is ACCA or whatever it was. And they were like, yeah, but their pass mark's not as high as mine. And actually use that as a selling point to gain a new client. Now, I'm not saying do that if it's not you, but it just shows how highly we are kept, and the transformations we have seen with our clients is phenomenal. For example, one client alone is product based, and was still doing everything on spreadsheets. I built them a web shop, I helped them get online, and we saw 587% increase in a month of sales compared to the year before.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Well, I bet that client's very happy. And so, and how about the future of your practice then? Knowing that there is no shortage of business, we've got even more taxpayers desperately looking for a good bookkeeper. How is it going to affect you, and how do you see your team developing?
Yeah, so we already see all our clients quarterly as a minimum anyway. So for the MTD things, that was never going to be an effect for us because we already see them quarterly, and we already review their accounts quarterly because we're their partner business. And as we all know, up-to-date information is key to making financial decisions for the business. So obviously we're training my employee now. We are looking to add a third member to the team in September next year, which will be when we move to our bigger office. And then we can take on more clients. We don't grow too quickly. It's very important to me that we grow sustainably and that all our clients' service levels don't drop just because we take on more work. So we actually have a waiting list for new clients, which is a very special and privileged place to be. But yeah, we're just going to keep growing and going from strength to strength. We want to support as many businesses as possible.
That is very inspiring. Okay, what I want to do is just go back to that slide about the amazing Ideal Schools discount. But just to wrap up, if you do want to see any of the student content, get yourself a Bookkeeper Summit ticket. And here up on screen, we've got Thursday, the 14th of December, but there is an in-person event, which is very special on the Monday, Monday the 11th, following which we have our amazing Luca Awards ceremony, and the great and the good will be celebrating, and no doubt Stephanie will be celebrating as well. We know what a tremendous achievement it is to get a Luca Award, and one day your employees could be getting a Luca Award, and we could be crowning you Employer of the Year or Bookkeeping Team of the Year, or even this amazing new category, Client Experience of the Year. For students specifically, if you are an ICB registered student or you know of one, they can have a special discount of 50% off virtual only summit tickets. So we've got the summit happening on the Wednesday and the Thursday of November online as well. So the code for that will be shared far and wide. I believe it's student. You put that into the checkout. If you are not really a student, we will just cancel your ticket. So don't get clever with us. But we do want lots and lots of students to come. And so just, finally, Brian, do you want to give us any sort of final words as we kind of flash up this amazing October discount?
Fantastic. I just want to add an extra endorsement for the branch meetings. I've seen firsthand the work the branch chairs put into hosting those, and the benefit that those in attendance get from it. So if you're able to attend via in-person or Zoom, I would really encourage that. From our own perspective, mentioned before, we're all about communication. So if anybody wants to give us a call to discuss potential study options for either them or their employees, then give us a call. We're friendly with no hard sell, and we'll look for the best solution for you and your practice. So pick up the phone and look forward to chatting.
Pick up the phone and step into the future of your practice. There is so much business out there, and this is really the time for the bookkeeper, I think. Do you have any final words, Stephanie? It's been fantastic to hear about your story.
No, thank you for having me. Just quickly on the in-person event, Aaron Patrick from Ask the Accountant and I will be there helping doing a podcast on the day. So if you see us, come and say hello. If you've got any anxiety about attending the in-person event, please get in touch with somebody you know is going, because we will all welcome you in. The ICB always do, with open arms. I'm so looking forward to cake. And to Ideal Schools, honestly, it's the best investment I made. I wouldn't be here without the support of Brian and the team at Ideal Schools. So, and the ICB who hold my license. So thank you for having me.
Oh, so yes, fantastic. Lots and lots of reasons to make this great decision that could really affect you and the future of your practice. And very good luck in running your business and developing a team. It's not easy, but you're not alone. We're all in this together, and there are plenty of people out there in our community to support you. So I very much hope we can support you in this next step for your practice, and that it's very positive for you. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much, Brian and Elaine, and also ICB's Jasmine in the background. And thank you everybody for joining us in the chat as well. So have a fabulous day. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Amy. Bye-bye, everyone.